YouTube and Rumble family, what's good? What's happening? Let's talk for a little bit. So I spent 23 years in the Navy. Most of those years were fantastic. Some of that time wasn't so good. Either way, all in all, it was quite the experience. Now, anybody that served time in the military, especially in the Navy, because that's the perspective I'm going to give it to you from, knows that you have to do one thing that every single sailor does. That's called standing watch. Anytime you stand watch, basically you have control of that area and everything in view, a la the first general order. So, for example, if you're the officer of the deck basically has full custody of the ship, the comings and the goings of the ship at that time he is on watch, right? Basically the entire day. So he has full physical and administrative custody of the ship and everything that goes down, right? Especially if it concerns the watch down in the engine spaces, which you have other watches that do their small part, but all in all, overall in charge is the officer of the deck. Now, let me give you an example. Say the officer of the deck is standing watch on a ship and something occurs, i.e., say an explosion happens outside the ship. God forbid, an explosion happens, but nobody's hurt, but you might have some damaged equipment. But the explosion happens outside of the ship. So what's going to happen is everyone that's on watch is going to offer their perspective, and that perspective is recorded. Oftentimes when you're on watch, you have a logbook, and as you document every passing hour that goes on, you let them know, hey, nothing happened at this time, right? All conditions normal, or this person showed up drunk, or these things happened. Now, the thing that happened, an explosion on the ship. If you're in the engine spaces and you're standing a cold iron watch, and then you say, hey, I heard an explosion outside the ship, it rocked one of the boilers. The boiler number 1 is damaged. These are the corrective actions that I've taken. This is petty officer, a seaman, or fireman, what's in space, whatever the name is, and this is the time that it occurred. This is the watch that I'm standing, and these are the people that were here and that were involved. Nobody's hurt, right? That's from an cold iron perspective watch. Now, if you take it to the outside skin of the ship, somebody's standing a gun watch. They say, hey, there was an explosion that occurred. Nobody got injured to my knowledge. I saw a big flash. This is the direction that we were pointed, the ship was pointed. This is where I was when this explosion occurred. You know, nothing got damaged as far as I saw. And these are the corrective actions that I made. This is what time it was. Now, if you're the officer of the deck, you write in your log entry the stuff that you saw took place, the stuff that you felt, but then at the end of that watch, and after that little mishap occurred, right? What you're gonna do is you're gonna gather up all that evidence, and then you're gonna present it to the skipper of the boat, who then has to present it to a higher power, who then more than likely will have to give it to Congress, give it to this and to that. Anyway, what I'm saying is that information like that becomes legal document, right? And as a legal document like that, because millions of dollars of equipment is involved, and millions of dollars in people is also involved. Like, these things are quite important and stuff like that to ensure that they don't happen again. You want to make sure that you have the best perspective as possible moving forward. Anyhow, I'm saying all that to say this. So the Voyager 1 apparently has a communication problem over the last week or so, actually for quite some time. They said that the Voyager 1 has had a problem with communicating back to Earth, this, that, the third. Now, the problem I have is this. You have a Voyager 1 that's out there. Apparently the Voyager 1 is like 15 billion miles away from Earth right now. But then behind the Voyager 1, you have the Voyager 2. That's around 12 billion miles away from Earth right now. 11 and change, 12, right? And so my question is this. You know the Voyager 1 has a problem. The Voyager 2 pretty much has like maybe a little bit of a different mission, but it's functioning almost the same way. More than likely, it might have better sensors, so on, so forth, assuming that they're doing everything that everyone claims that Voyager 1 and 2 is doing. Now, don't you think it would be wise to take a look at Voyager 1 from a distance if you could? This is why now we have the James Webb Space Telescope that's 1,000,000 miles away from Earth, right? That's what we're being told. So don't you think you'd be able to take the James Webb Space Telescope and look at Voyager 1 to see if there's any kind of physical damage so you could get a better grasp as to how to fix any kind of problem that you could possibly see? That's what I thought with the Voyager 1. Only problem is the max distance that the James Webb Space Telescope could see, according to these scientists, is 13 billion miles. Now, what my question is then in that case, why don't you look at the Voyager 2? Now, I understand it doesn't have any communication issues just yet, but so we don't have these same problems that we've had with the Voyager 1 with the Voyager 2. Let's see if we can get some eyes on the Voyager 2 with the James Webb Space Telescope. Now, the question is that going to happen? Are they going to allow for that to happen? Or are they just going to give us more excuses? Okay, I'm like, they're probably going to give us more BS and more excuses, so fine. So if the James Webb Space Telescope can't do all these things that you profess that it can with objects that are actually out there, okay, you know, we have a few things going on here we have a couple of things actually. We have stuff going on now, and then we have stuff coming up in the very near future, and then in the not so near but near future. What am I saying? So right now in the sky, you have a comet, Pons-Brooks, right? Not necessarily visible to the naked eye, but you could spot it with a good set of binoculars or a telescope. That's one. Coming here in a week, you have the lunar eclipse, right? You have, what we're being told is we have 5,000 sensors or 5,000 satellites that are circling the Earth, right? Or that are just out in space. So with these 5,000 satellites, don't you think you can get one of them to look at this lunar eclipse, to one of them just to look at Pons-Brooks from their perspective and just to tell you, hey, this isn't normal, what's going on, so this is what I'm seeing from this distance. This is what I'm seeing from this perspective. This part of space from the Earth, this is what I'm seeing. And then probably capture the Earth at the same time. And then, obviously, we have one of the greater things coming up. On the 8th of April, we have the solar eclipse. So don't you think, with all these sensors out in space, somebody is going to say, hey, let's get maybe one, maybe two, how about 2,000 of these sensors to look at this solar eclipse? Why not? Why not? That's all I got. That's really the only questions that I have. I wanted to give everybody some perspective as to how a watch works. And with all those sensors being on watch, right? You mean to tell me you can't get a couple of them, if not, one of them to look at what's going on in space with the big things, the big events that we currently have going on? That's my question. I don't know. If anybody has anything to follow up with that, please let me know, or please ask with me, right? Because apparently this stuff is of such great importance that they're talking about locking up schools for the solar eclipse. Don't go outside for the solar eclipse, this one and that one. Well, if that's the case, what the hell is NASA doing about it? What the hell are we going to do about it with these telescopes? Me personally, I don't believe that these things are functioning the way they're functioning. I don't believe that they are where they say that they are. We've been lied to before, and so there's no reason why these guys wouldn't continue to lie to us here in the future. Anyway, YouTube family, that's all I got. Make sure to like, sub, and share and everything else like that. Also, make sure to join me here on True Earth Tuesday, where we're going to be doing it all again. Anyway, I wish you guys nothing but the best. Health, wealth, love, joy, prosperity, most of all wisdom. And with that, I love you. I'm out. Peace.